It was back to Goose Creek Elementary School again. Buses were coming out to Ladson to pick us up and to take us about 8 miles so that we could attend school in Goose Creek. At Goose Creek Elementary School in the 6th grade, we began each morning with a reading class. My reading teacher's name was Mr. Moore. Then after that, we would go back to our, what you might call a homeroom class. And then for the rest of the day, I would have one teacher in the morning, and then I would have another teacher in the afternoon. At the start of the year, the morning teacher for us would be Miss Davis. She taught us history, science, and math. And then in the afternoon, Mrs. Belcher would come to our room while Miss Davis went to her room, and Miss Belcher taught us language arts, spelling, literature, health, that sort of thing. And she also took us to the library. Okay, well, Mrs. Belcher stayed with us all year long as our language arts teacher. She was very passionate about language arts. She taught us a lot of language arts. I mean, we really had to spell a lot, and she taught us how to diagram sentences. We read a lot. So she really knew how to make us work and how to make us give book reports and whatever. I enjoyed her, although I got in trouble with her a few times. But overall, I thought she was really a good teacher. Of course, she told us that she had been teaching 12 years, so I guess she had plenty of experience. But in the morning, Miss Davis was our teacher of math, history, and science. And she was not a good teacher that year. I don't think she was very happy there. She was always getting mad at the class, and when she got mad, she raised her voice so loud you could hear her all the way up the hall. And she, when she screamed, she would scream out a whole paragraph. But anyway, she didn't stay there very long. We got a new teacher to replace her, whose name was Mrs. Smith. When she came along, she took over in the afternoon while Mrs. Belcher would come in the morning. So our day went like this. We'd come to school, go to reading class when I had Mr. Moore. Then after that, I would have Mrs. Belcher, who would come to our class to teach language arts. Then we'd have our recess and lunch, and then in the afternoon, Mrs. Smith would finish the day by teaching us math, science, and history. Anyway, not a bad year, not really. Mrs. Smith was a good teacher of ours. She got along with us. She was lively, and she knew how to have fun in the classroom. And she led us to conduct somewhat of a school musical. Our class did. We did weeks and weeks and weeks of rehearsal, and finally our principal gave us permission to perform this to the entire school. They would come to the cafeteria to see us on the stage in groups by grade level, and we were complimented very much for that. And then we also gave a Friday night performance of that. I got to sing a solo or two. Not too bad. But anyway, so much for the 6th grade year. Once again, I had Mr. Moore, Miss Davis, Mrs. Smith, and Mrs. Belcher. So if you are one of those people, or if you had one of those teachers, or if you recall that I might have been in your classroom, give me a shout. Now, if you aren't any of those, if you don't fit into any of those categories, and you just have a teacher story to share with us, well, give me a shout. Talk to you later. Take care.